What if your personality isn't really you, but a script you wrote at 5 years old just to survive? Some people say they're just naturally melancholic, but in reality, they're living with the silent lifelong depression they don't even notice. Today we're diving into 3 hidden signs that your childhood survival map is still running your adult life and how you can start changing that today. Sign number 1 is the belief that depression is something normal. Some people say they're naturally melancholic or pessimistic, where in fact they have a mild depression. This is the kind of depression you don't even notice because it's been there since always. This is closely related to the concept of a life script intersectional analysis. A life script is like an unconscious life plan that a person forms in childhood, and it's based on early experiences, parental messages, and decisions that you make about yourself and the world. It's called a script because it's similar to a story or play that guides how a person thinks, feels, and behaves without even realizing. So if you grew up in a house where everyone was stressed or depressed all the time, and relationships just weren't safe or positive, you may have decided very early on that life is something really difficult or even meaningless, and that relationships are dangerous, and maybe even that people who are happy or loving are fake and cheesy. Life scripts form because children are trying hard to make sense of their environment and survive emotionally. They internalize messages that they get from parents, and these messages shape expectations, behaviors, and self-worth. Becoming aware of your life script is the first step. Therapy, self-reflection, and questioning long-held beliefs can help you recognize patterns that no longer serve you and consciously, slowly rewrite your script to allow more freedom, self-acceptance, and healthy choices. Sign number two is the split self. The split self is a pattern where a person can very easily adapt to different situations, almost like a chameleon, but they also keep their relationships and social circles very separate. For example, they might feel comfortable being one version of themselves with friends and another at work, and a completely different version with family. But they feel very anxious at the idea of these worlds overlapping and people meeting each other. And this often develops in environments where there was a need to hide parts of life or parts of the self, maybe even keep secrets, and carefully manage how one is perceived just to keep safe. As a result, the person learns that mixing different parts of their life could lead to exposure, conflict, rejection. A helpful way to work with this is to slowly, safely challenge the pattern, taking small steps like introducing people from different areas of your life, while also gently exploring the underlying fear, often by reflecting on what part of you still worries about being found out or not accepted. Traumatized people often adapt too much and they completely lose themselves in certain environments. And this is because a lot of traumatized people really struggle with their sense of identity. Their early environment was so unsafe, they had to suppress so many emotions and also many parts of themselves. And as a consequence, they weren't able to develop solid, full identity. That leaves them unsure of who they are and of what they want. They completely lose touch with their intuition because their feelings and thoughts and experiences were never really acknowledged and validated. In such environments, the child inside then concludes, what I feel is wrong, therefore I must be wrong. Sign number 3 is laughing about the pain. This pattern shows up when someone talks about very painful events in a joking and casual way, as if it wasn't a big deal. So on the surface, it seems like humor, but underneath there's often unprocessed pain that hasn't been fully felt or acknowledged. This happens in environments where emotions were dismissed, mocked, not taken seriously. And the person learned that the only acceptable way to share something was to make it light or funny. Over time, this becomes a habit which creates distance from the real emotional impact of those experiences. Children cannot learn how to regulate emotions on their own. Their nervous systems are just not built that way. We're supposed to learn emotional regulation within the relationship with our primary caregiver. If our primary caregiver didn't teach us those skills, it will be very difficult for us to recognize emotions, name emotions, express them in a healthy way, and also to accept ourselves in these experiences. A gentle way to connect with suppressed emotions is through inner child work, for example, through journaling. So I would suggest you reflect on your childhood and your younger self. Notice the relationship you have with that inner child and offer some compassion. This work involves connecting with the part of you that experienced fear or neglect, and then give it some attention and validation. You might write from your younger self's perspective, expressing feelings and needs, and then respond as your adult self with reassurance, something like, "What did you need then?" followed by, "You didn't deserve that, I'm here now." Over time, this practice will help to integrate painful experiences and reduce shame and strengthen self-compassion. You can do something like that with your partner as well, or with your therapist, or you can try out some inner child meditations. You don't have to be a chameleon to be safe anymore. You don't have to be melancholic just because that's all you've ever known. Awareness is the first step towards integration. Keep going, you are stronger than you think. Don't forget to subscribe for part 3.